How will Edition Thrifty perform against Edition 50? Henry Catchpole's behind me in the Edition 50 drag race! Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel, and welcome to a long overdue update video on my daily driver, this 2017 Golf GTI Performance that was imported to the UK from Hong Kong by its previous owner. I affectionately call it Edition Thrifty because it was quite a lot cheaper than a good UK car because of the modifications and because it was an import, but I felt with a few tweaks I could make this Golf GTI my perfect Golf GTI. Over the 8 months since I bought it, it's proved to be a really good road car, but today we're going to find out if it can also work on track. It came with a KW V3 suspension. It came with a Brembo 6-piston brakes and a few other tweaks that could potentially make it work really well on track. But on the other hand, the standard cars have lots of time and effort spent on them by Volkswagen's engineers, and you kind of know what you're going to get. While with this car, I have no idea how it's going to perform on track today, whether it will be reliable as well. Okay, now let me show you what's changed since you last saw the car. Starting with the wheels, so we've got the same raised wheels, but they're no longer grey, they're Porsche Vice Gold. I didn't like grey, but I realise now these are a different colour. You can see the style a lot more, and I don't actually like the style. They make the car look really old, but they are forged wheels, they're super light, and they clear the massive Brembos, so I'm a bit stuck with those for the moment, but if you can suggest anything, let me know via the comments. I'm sure a lot of you will be glad to know the body styling's gone. I had a bit of an epiphany in May, not unrelated to the court case you guys probably know about, and decided I want my car to be as stealthy as possible. So I took the skirts off, which was pretty easy, and they've been replaced with the original style, but these are pattern parts because the original ones are 300 quid each, something like that, and secondhand they're usually knackered. So these were about 70 quid each. The big problem though is they each take 12 screws to locate them onto the sill, or roughly 12 screws, and those screws are quite expensive from VW, especially when you need like 24 of them, because the iSweep ones were largely glued on and they came with a couple of the screws. So I contacted the guys at Parts House. They're a parts specialist that specialises in genuine parts. They do discontinued stock, but they'll also supply you stuff that you can get from your main dealer, but the difference is they'll deliver it to your door. So they got me 24 of those. So the sill covers are now secure, which would be good because we're probably doing about 140 miles an hour later on today. The wing, well, in theory, you can just pull it off, but the iSweep one was bonded on to the tailgate, and that meant if I ripped it off, I'd end up ruining the spoiler, and I'd end up ruining the tailgate. So what I had to do was get a second-hand tailgate where I could get this section off. This is just bolted on. It's plastic. But trying to find a good one of these, even on a tailgate, was difficult. They're impossible to find off the car, and people want the same sort of money as a tailgate when they've got these off the car. So anyway, I found a really good tailgate because that was important, because I need to sell the tailgate on and get my money back. In here, things have changed as well, because the big heavy electric memory leather seat has now been swapped for the Recaro Sportster CS seats that the previous owner didn't get around to fitting before he sadly passed away, and I paid extra for them and took them away with the car. So they've been sitting around for about 8 months waiting to go in, but I finally found a bit of time to do it. They come with the genuine Recaro bases as well. The hardest bit though is wiring in the heated seats, because these come with a heater element, and they've even got a switch on the side here, but it's just a 2-wire element, while the Volkswagen ones have got 4-wire, because the extra 2 wires are for a resistor that measures the temperature, and it feeds it back to the climate control panel and alters the temperature. Well, I managed to actually fit a resistor into the loom. I learned a lot working on my R8's Recaro seats where the heated seat had packed up, and now we have them operating off the dash switch. There's also a switch on here, which means you've got 6 stages. So 3 stages on low power with a dash switch and 3 stages on high power. What I was surprised about was that you can't actually lift them up. So I quite like my seats low, and I'm not the shortest person in the world, so they're actually perfect for me. But if you're short, then it might be a bit more of an issue. But they are lovely, though they are sort of starting to pill a bit down here, which is disappointing because I've only done like a few hours driving in them. We'll see how we get on with that. I mean, they look really good. You've got a tilting function as well. Might come in handy one day. So they're going a 3-door. But as well as looking good, they should hold me in place on track. The leather seats are never really that good for that. And in the winter, they'll be even better as well, because they heat up a lot more quickly than the original ones. I have to admit, I am quite nervous about going on track in this car, because normally I drive cars that have been sort of designed for track, like the Club Sport S or even the Leon Cupra, not been messed around with that much. This has had a lot of important things changed in it, brakes, suspension, so I've got no idea how it's going to perform, and yeah, will it be twitchy? Will it oversteer unexpectedly? Who knows? I've played around with the KWs to set them up, got a good base setting on them. It's actually okay for the road, which was surprising because I drove my Club Sport S yesterday in race mode and it felt a lot stiffer, but then the KWs on this car would have cost a lot more to make. They're a lot more sophisticated than the Monroe DCC dampers on the Club Sport S, believe it or not. So potentially they could ride well and handle well. We will find out shortly. What I'm very pleased to report is that we have a Golf GTI Edition 50 here, and it's not a customer car. Henry Catchpole from Evo magazine. There's his horn-rimmed spectacles on the dashboard there. He's just arrived in this car and he's going to be taking it around the track, and I can't wait to see how it performs. It's going to be the Bridgestone semi-slicks, yeah, Potenza race, so it's a performance pack car. So yeah, how will Edition Thrifty perform against Edition 50? I've done some warming up laps and I'm pretty happy with the car. Had a couple of little technical issues, one of which was oil coming out the oil filler cap onto the hot turbo because it was overfilled. I tell people when they buy a car from me with an EA 888 Gen 3, it's really easy to overfill them if you check them when they're cold, even in this warm weather. Looks like I did that because it's just got the maximum amount of oil in it now, hasn't like lost any more and it stopped doing it. Also, the brakes, £6 worth of Brembos, and to be honest, they're not as confidence inspiring as the Mark 8 Club Sport Edition 50 ones, which is strange, and also they seem to have an imbalance as well, which is really quite worrying. And there's also like a scraping noise from the brakes as well when they're hot, when you pull into the pits, which doesn't sound too good. We're going to go out again now, and tyre pressures are set, so it's as good as it's going to get. Okay, check for traffic, into the hairpin, second gear, quite a late apex. One of the few gravel traps here, which actually is not that visible. I haven't had any problems with the noise. It was 94 on the static, which was all right. That's good. Tyres are a bit cold now because the car's been sat in the paddock while I've been getting the race suit. Anyway, keep it nice and left here. And then keep the foot in while you go to the right. And then get on the brakes earlier than you think for this one. Into third, turning on the brakes. Run a bit of curb and let it run wide. And then over to the right for this very late apex, which I think is probably a third, not a second, yeah, a third. Late apex, just try and clip the curb. And then run off, one tyre off, yeah. And then the boring bit, 100 and something miles an hour. What can we do? I've got no traffic ahead of me, which is probably bad. It's disorientating. 130, that'll do for this early lap. Onto the brakes, they feel all right now actually, a bit of weaving. And then into third for this chicane, run a bit of curb. There is a manhole cover in this one you don't want to hit. And then nice flat curb there, over to this curb. And then on the brakes, it's a bit tighter, loads of runoff though. And this is quite a long straight, this one, so you need to get a good entry. It's quite a lot of room though, so curb. Oh yeah, maybe not. That curb's a lot softer. I really don't like this corner. I think it's because it's kind of hard to work it out. So 150 more, 100 metre board brake. And then turning on the green a bit early. And then, yeah, again, disorientating, but there's loads of runoff. And then 90 miles an hour over the start-finish straight. Okay, done some hot laps. I think I know the car pretty well now. It's okay. I'm a bit disappointed with the brakes because they're not that brilliant. I think I need some new pads though, maybe something different. It's got the yellow ones, which are probably EBC yellow stuff. The brake splash guard is catching on the disc when they're hot because it's probably an original one that's been cut, so I need to have a look at that. The oil problem has resolved itself now just because there was too much in there. And what else? People who are following me say it looks like it's got quite a lot of roll, which is disappointing because it's KWV3s on 2/3 stiffness. So they're, yeah, near the top of their stiffness, but they can go a bit stiffer if they have to. But I was a bit worried about that because it still rides really well on the road with these settings. So yeah, maybe I'll have a play with that, but it's okay. The tyres aren't bad, but we could do with some slicks, semi-slicks next time. So they're not particularly mullered, there's a bit of graining on them, but they've been all right. They hold on pretty well. This in here, I'm pretty sure is from the oil that was overfilled, which I'm really embarrassed about, but that's stopped now because you can smell it when it's burning. So yeah, I mean, not an awful lot of driving going on here, really. A lot of people staying in the pits, maybe because it's so hot. And I find it a bit difficult when the track's empty. I like to follow people because it just makes it more interesting as well. But anyway, yeah, it's good, but am I blown away by it? Not yet. So let's go and do some more lapping and see if I can get fully dialed into it. I don't have much fuel left, but Henry Catchpole's behind me in the Edition 50, so hopefully just do maybe one lap behind him and see what the car looks like on track. Okay, well, the Evo track evening has come to an end, and it's been really, really enjoyable and different to my usual ones because they don't tend to have issues. The cars are usually unmodified and therefore pretty well tested. That's been built by somebody who I don't know, and it's had a few little teething problems. But one of them was my fault. I put too much oil in. So if you've got EA888, be very careful, because I drove it for quite a long time with that much oil in it and it didn't do anything. 2 sighting laps here and a few revs, and it spat it out pretty much over the turbo. The brakes seem to have got better. I can only assume they weren't used in anger before today, and they seem to be actually quite good now. But everybody's been complaining about tyres and brakes today because of the heat. It's probably just about 20 now, but it was high 20s when we started. Yeah, tyres have held up okay for a road tyre, but I think semi-slicks would be good. I think the car needs to be a little bit stiffer as well. I'll pop those on the back and they'll last for quite a long time. The backs are a little bit grained as well, as you can see. But no, they've done all right for a road tyre with partial track use. But yeah, I need to do, I used to never use road tyres on track, but they've got so much better, but you still can't beat a semi-slick. And maybe I need to get some of those Bridgestone Pretenders race, like on the Edition 50. As ever guys, thanks for watching this Volks Wizard video. It's been great to bring you content on Fui again after such a long time. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you for the next one very soon.